Hello, everyone. Welcome back to yet another political episode. So, we got to talk about, of course, the ballot measures on the ballot in Illinois, and I'll tell you, I'm not a fan of some of them, but we're going to go ahead and see if there's more context, specifically in Illinois advisory question election results. So, looking here, you'll see 89% approved of a ballot measure in Illinois. This ballot measure easily passed. This ballot measure, this non-binding measure, expresses support for penalizing any candidate who interferes or attempts to interfere with the official responsibilities of an election worker. So it's a candidate, meaning if a candidate or someone on the ballot is interfering or meddling with the election in any way, this ultimately would be condemned, and it seems everyone is on board with it. I think it would be a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puff if we didn't do it. Like, do you want that to happen with candidates meddling with that? No, I think the left and the right, we both agree that, you know what, candidates shouldn't be interfering on the election. Although I'll tell you, the left will probably cover it up if they did it, or if the right, vice versa. This is definitely what it looks like. 89.89% of the popular vote in voting the yes option. No, 11%. Counties that supported the results aggressively is Cook County. Cook County, 91% of the popular vote. So, obviously, that passes. The no option, we're looking at Clay County at 73%. Now, Clay, it's somewhere. Where's Clay County? Well, it doesn't really matter. The Clay County voted for it anyway, overwhelmingly. Looking at the no, you're seeing more patterns here. It seems as if more liberal counties, well, I don't know if Mercer County is a liberal county. We can go ahead and see, but really it doesn't matter because this was a bipartisan amendment, meaning this amendment doesn't really take a side. There's no liberal, there's no conservative. It's just common sense, in my opinion. I think I would have supported it. This is Joe Davis. They're right there. Okay. Mercer, 90%. You'll see that's a red county, too. So this county, very not bipartisan here, even. Although you'll see more conservative counties voting against it. I'm guessing it's mostly because of the low turnout, that it's more lower. But yeah, you're seeing more unpopulated counties vote against it. All right, so election worker protection. Advisory question, once again, create new tax bracket. Now, this ballot measure, so obviously a very divisive measure. You'll see more liberal counties are actually in support of this tax bracket. So this non-binding measure expresses support for establishing an extra 3% tax on income of over $1 million, with that revenue being directed to property tax relief. Obviously, this would raise your taxes, so a lot of these conservative counties, they voted aggressively no. While you're seeing more higher income liberal counties, Cook, you got Winnebago, you got Peoria, Rock Island, McLean, Champaign, and Jackson, Madison, and St. Clair counties, they are supporting this ballot measure. Huge support amongst this ballot measure amongst those counties. So, yep, I think it's 95% in. Supposedly, there could be some changes, but the decision has already been made. Yes is the winner, 60.7% of the popular vote being won by the yes column. So, county that supported the most is Cook, the most liberal out of them all, 67%. While you have the county that says no, that's Edwards County, and this is in the three areas. The three counties, the three most conservative counties right here, and this is Edwards County, you could call it the most conservative county. I want to believe, yeah, Barack Obama couldn't even win this county. And if you guys are unaware, Barack Obama carried a lot of counties in his 2004 run. He probably carried all but 10. And he was just a state senator, and people didn't even know who he was, and immediately they fell in love with him. It's kind of ironic, but this is what the results look like. Yes, even out of Jackson County, you got rural areas like Perry. Franklin County used to be a Democrat stronghold. It's returned to the liberal base in this one. Saline, Williamson County, along with Alexander County, 50.6%. So obviously a big iconic measure there. So let's go ahead and take a look at advisory question number 3. And this is a controversial one. Support reproductive health coverage. And you may be thinking, oh, this is like abortion. Well, I want to say this is mostly because of vitro, okay? This non-binding measure expresses support for the idea that in vitro fertilization and similar treatments should be covered by health insurance plans and cover pregnancy benefits. And I would say, no, I am morally against vitro. I don't support IVF. And I have no intentions of supporting it in the future. Here's the deal. I recognize there are some people that support IVF treatment. Donald Trump supports IVF. I think that's probably part of the reason why this measure has gotten so many support from red counties, as you can see here, except for the 4 main important ones. Jasper County is exactly a tie in Jasper. But the reason why so much support amongst these counties, I'm going to tell you this, it's mostly because of Donald Trump, you could say. He's made it out to be IVF to be a normal thing. I'm not kicking and screaming about it. I still voted for him. There's things I disagree with Donald Trump, and IVF is one of them. I don't think, and here's the thing, I oppose Republican Party this modification. When it comes to abortion, Republicans need to stop saying abortion's murder, abortion's murder, abortion's murder. It literally turns people off. And I'm saying let's go through a different approach. I think Republicans need to adapt a religious liberty approach. I don't want my taxes going to vitro fertilization. I'm against vitro fertilization as a Roman Catholic. I don't believe in that. And that's part of my frustrations with Trump, was he was kind of steering away more Catholic voters with his vitro beliefs. But, he still won a handful of them anyway. I think he could have won a lot more if he at least adopted more of a religious liberty approach. Because, believe it or not, a vast amount of Americans believe in religious liberty. And the idea that taxes shouldn't go to ideas and programs that you are religiously and morally against. And I think overall we would do so well in the abortion argument, saying, hey, look, it's not women who are being affected by this issue. It's also people of religion, Protestants, Catholics, Christians alike. They're being affected. And they are the character on the other side. You got feminist women versus religious Americans. And as much as the left wants to cancel religion, this will ultimately point out that, hey, look, this is what the left has always been. They're anti-religion. You see, they push away the concerns of the religious, and they adopt this secularist model. A lot of Americans don't think of abortion as a religious problem because they think abortion is absolute, like, as you should know, a fundamental, like, a treatment, but they don't understand how the actual process works, and why these groups are calling it out and don't want anything to do about it. But too bad, because the government is forcing tax dollars forcing them to pay for this. Illinois is one of those states. I don't know if this isn't about abortion. This is about vitro fertilization. And a lot of people will say, oh, well, you support life. Why don't you support people having more babies? Well, it's not. I support people having more babies, but it's the way we are doing that. Okay, it involves a practice, like there's a lot of masturbation involved, using some blunt words and sensitive words. So if you can excuse me, yes, a lot of masturbation involved in regards to vitro in order to get it to work. And that's why I'm like, no, because I'm against that stuff. Absolutely not. It's in my culture, that is huge taboo. And you ultimately, you just don't want to be you have to stay away from that. It's a huge moral sin in my culture, and it's saying, okay, you are literally forbidden to receive Holy Communion if you've committed masturbation in any way. You're not excommunicated, but yeah, I wouldn't say that's the next step. But if you encouraged it on others, you would probably be excommunicated. It's a thing that a lot of people struggle with. It's a sensitive thing, absolutely. And looking at the measure, it looks like a lot of people don't understand how vitro works. It's just a lot of pornography, because you got to get aroused sexually in order for the fertilization to kick in. You get those, as you know, the sperm released from the man to inject into the woman's vagina. That's how it works. And that's how you create a baby. And a lot of people say, hey, if you want a baby, then you should go through all the trouble to get one. And I'm saying, okay, yeah, you can have your baby, but I don't want to pay for that. And I'm sure Americans don't want to pay for anything, especially things that they don't support. But then again, we live under a government, and they will remind us, oh, it's the government. You live here, you got to pay your taxes for this and this and this. Yeah, but if it's against my moral belief, then there needs to be some sort of accommodation. That's what Republicans really need to do. If abortion proved to be a huge winning issue for Democrats in the last 2 years, it failed this time because Americans were more concerned about the economy. They knew that there would be no other chance, no other time in the said sort of elections than right now to voice their support, their desperate approach for the economy. And ultimately, they prevailed. But as the economy gets better, hopefully under Trump, immigration gets better under Trump, foreign policy gets better under Trump, abortion's still going to be remaining a concern. And we cannot just keep saying, oh, states' right, states' right, state right. Well, it's helping a little bit, absolutely. But you're turning off a lot of that evangelical Christian base. They're going to start leaving. They're going to join the Constitution Party, which has voiced so much disapproval. Obviously, I support a state's right to decide the future of abortion. I just don't. Republicans need to adapt the issue, modify the issue more. Say, hey, look, religious liberty. This is what Republicans could do in these blue states like California and Minnesota, Illinois, New York, where abortion is forever legal under their roof. This is what they can do. They can say, hey, look, it's a violation of the First Amendment to force me to pay for something that I'm morally against, and you can fight it. And then guess what? Even though you may fall a couple times, but more and more, the argument sinks in that women aren't the only victims in this argument. The argument of abortion is that, oh, women, the rights of women are being taken away. But actually, the rights of religious men and women are being taken away if Roe v. Wade happens to prevail again. Or bring back, and I don't think it will, but if it happens to be bringing back, you have to establish that argument so that we don't get to that. And this will help people understand more that Dobbs v. Jackson was actually a good decision because it was a compromise for both women. Women, if you need your abortion, go to a free state. Well, I don't want to call it a free state because it's not really free because the infant is just, you know what I'm saying, but go to a state where abortion's legal. Stop whining and crying in South Dakota and leave. Go to Minnesota. Get your stupid abortion there and go home. And religious men and women, if you don't want to pay for the abortion via tax dollars, you can leave Minnesota, you can leave Illinois and go to North Dakota or South Dakota or the South, Texas, where religious liberty is respected. That's a compromise, and I support Dobbs v. Jackson, but unfortunately the Democrats don't see it that way, because the Democrats, it's their way or no way. They accuse us of not agreeing or not being on board with compromises. Well, there are some of us that are not. A lot of our party members of our party aren't compromisable. It does depend on personality trait and character trait. But we are seeing a trend more and more. We have the whole entire Democratic Party speaking out Dobbs v. Jackson. And that's why Republicans need to make this case. Religious liberty. That needs to come first before the argument that states have the right to choose. Because, it's working, but that's not going to stop people from going and voting yes at these stupid pro-woke ballot measures. We need to win these ballot measures. Republican Party should still try to defend life in the human womb. And by doing so and protecting people of religious liberty that live in these deep blue states, we need to go and make the case that, hey, look, women, it's not just women that have their rights snatched away, like the left wants to call it. It's actually religious men and women also that believe in God, that believe abortion is murder, and that it literally goes against their faith. And hereby the government is still forcing them to pay for it. So that's the argument we need to take on. So what do you guys think in regards? I have to go over the county result. Cook County, obviously, 81% in support of this silly ballot measure. No. Clay County, once again, although it was pretty close, 52% this is Edwards. Clay, right here. This is Mercer, but Clay County, 52%. Wayne, 51%. And Hamilton County, 50.8%. It was a close race, but obviously. And the one that's tied is Jasper County, 50-50. Interestingly enough. So what do you guys think in regards to our video? A little rough conversation about the third ballot measure. My bad. I mean, it helps us understand why vitro fertilization is so controversial to a lot of Americans, and why Republicans need to kind of figure out a different approach on the issue. So what do you guys think in regards to our video? Let me know down below, and as always, I'll see you all in the next political episode.